And we're back, dear viewers, to welcome our guest. With us, we would like to welcome Dr. Reem Alawadhi, Assistant Professor at Kuwait University. We're really delighted to have you here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
So, of course, at the beginning, Dr. Reem, we would like to know more, us and the audience, about your profession and about you working in the faculty itself.
Well, first of all, yes, I am an assistant professor at Kuwait University College of Science, Department of Earth and Environmental Science. I've been there for this is my third year now, and I'm very excited to share with you about our new environmental science program in the department and the developments that have been happening since moving to our new location in Shadiya campus.
Yes, so of course we'd like to congratulate you about that, let's say, movement and moving all around the new campus, and telling more the audience about science faculty, because more of the students would, let's say, consider science faculty as a way to, let's say, transfer from a specific, let's say, department to another. For instance, they enter mathematics in order for them to be able to get some grades, and then maybe they would go to engineering and so on. So this is more of the story that we always hear about science. Yes.
Unfortunately, that's the idea that most of the students call the College of Science the transfer college.
Yes.
But the College of Science is actually very exciting. It has diverse departments and diverse programs. For example, the Earth and Environmental Science Department has two different programs, geology and environmental science, as well as a minor in desert science, petroleum geology, environmental science as well. So each department has diverse programs. Even also the biological science departments, they have microbiology, zoology, botany, so different subspecialties within biology. And it's similar across all the other departments in the College of Science. Also, it has a very exciting program, marine science, in Al Funtas location. It has a state-of-the-art facility. It's very exciting for students to major in marine science. As you know, Kuwait is, we have the Arabian Gulf, and we depend so much on the marine as a livelihood since the beginning of Kuwait. So it's very important, and it's endemic to the society to learn more about their environment, either on land or the sea. So for specifically the environmental science, we've just finalized the version to start this new program as a major. Now it's a minor. So we have plans in the next year or so to start the environmental science major. And as you know, as Kuwait is going towards sustainability with New Kuwait Vision 2035, we have to have this program for a sustainable future.
Yes, and to hear about all of these departments when it comes into science itself, we've always, let's say, associate students, especially when talking about this departments, that it is actually, let's say, highlighted only from the topic biology, let's say, chemistry, physics, and so on. But they don't get really diverted into, let's say, getting deep into this kind of specialization. That is actually there is different kind of path when it comes into that department itself. Where do you think the error is, especially for the students? Is it because they have to look more about it?
Yes, I think there is this perception problem about science majors.
Yes.
So as we mentioned earlier, they call the College of Science the transfer science, but actually it's rich with knowledge. Our graduates get employed in many different areas across Kuwait.
Yes.
For example, geology majors, they are needed in the oil sector. So they seek out geology graduates because it's a much needed field in the oil industry. So there is this misconception about, oh, when I graduate from the College of Science, where am I going to get employed?
Yes.
And I think that the problem is, one is on Kuwait University, because we need more awareness for students and our graduates to give them to change their perception, first of all, and show them where they could get employed in collaboration with the government sector as well as the private sector. Yes, so for example, in the environmental science major, you can get employed in the oil sector as well, in academic research sector, such as KTV, Kuwait Institute for Scientific Research, Kuwait Advancement of Science. In terms of academia, there are many different places that our graduates can engage in. Other sectors, specifically when we look at Kuwait Vision 2035, specifically the Environmental Science Law of 2014 specifically obliges government sectors to have environmental science departments, across all different sectors, all different ministries.
Yes.
And that's a huge availability for our graduates too, and as well as the Environmental Protection Agency. So with our graduates, there are many diverse areas that they could be employed as well as environmental consultancies. And that is more towards the private sector.
Yes, and it's really great to hear about all of these opportunities given to the graduates, and it is also, let's say, more of awareness now, let's say, especially in students' life, and today's episode talking about such a great sector and how it is actually providing all of these kind of jobs opportunity for even the upcoming graduates. So talking about the field itself, as an experience, as you just said, that it is called the transfer college. I had that experience, and to be honest, going back with all of what happened, sometimes it was like, I wish I stayed more, I gave it more of a chance, you know, because it does have a great opportunity in different kind of fields, to be honest. And that is when we start to think about how we should, let's say, maintain that problem and not transfer, let's say, keep it ongoing when it comes into the students themselves.
I think we should place a higher value on education itself rather than the monetary incentive, because graduates tend to find, oh, where is the best place where I would have the highest salary.
Indeed.
So that is this
idea.
problem is endemic
Exactly.
to Kuwait. So we have to change that perception. So if we place a higher value on education and actually gaining the proper skills that we need for the workforce, we would flip this idea. Because a lot of the areas, the governmental areas, lack professional level skills because of that idea, I'm going to that sector because it's going to pay me higher. Whereas if something maybe students don't even love in the first place, they're just there for the money. So we acknowledge this problem, but we have to provide structural fixes. So we have to change that idea of putting more value on education itself rather than the monetary gain from the workforce.
Yes, especially that you're talking about geology. I think everyone now is going to be really rushing to it because of the oil sector, indeed. So also when it comes into the students themselves, we've always seen that students, let's say, look at their professors as an idol. And at the same time, they want to become, let's say, closer to them by knowing their background, they're knowing how did they actually reach toward their position. So how do you actually deal with the students in that perspective?
A lot of the students, specifically in the College of Science, are curious by nature. So they have this curiosity. So it's our job to feed that curiosity constantly. So we do that by engaging them in. That's one of the beauties about the College of Sciences. We have field trips. We engage students in their environments. For example, we have field trips to the first renewable energy plant in Shigaya plant, where we have solar energy application, wind energy applications. So in one of our classes, we actually take the students there, and they're amazed by that technology that we have in Kuwait, and it's expanding. Also in the marine science, they take them out into Kuwait Bay, and they do their tests, and they collect samples, they analyze them in the lab. So we try to take students out of the campus to explore their environment, and that keeps their curiosity ignited, which opens a whole nother area into academia and research. And a lot of these students actually stick to academia. They would go into higher education, they would go into master's program or PhD programs, and that's our job, is to keep that curiosity going and answer their questions and guide them through this process.
Yes, and as you just highlighted, it is very important to see, or let's say to find that trigger in each and kind of student in order for them to persuade more, let's say, or pursued more into producing, into knowing, into accepting my let's say major, and trying to improve myself and even give a good impact on Kuwait itself. So when it comes into also to science faculty, we've always heard that there is kind of, let's say, competition that you actually raise in college, or even when it comes into exhibitions and so on. Tell us more about it.
So I think that's also important to raise awareness among students, is to have an open door policy, first of all, is to allow students to actually come into through office hours to ask us about any questions that they do have. And I think that is improving overall in Kuwait University, especially after going through COVID, where we had this major lockdown. Yes. And we kind of missed that human contact again.
Indeed.
And I think that's improving nowadays, that we've craved that human one-on-one contact. And that's a great example. We have more exhibitions now that we've moved to the new location, more space. We have more stages, more areas to have these competitions. So it's very important. In Kuwait University, we have this research poster competition every year. And every year I get amazed about the submissions. They get better and better every year. So I'm so proud of our students. And I encourage everyone, all of our students, to participate in these activities.
Yes, and talking about difficulties that you actually faced, you especially working in your position, I'm very sure that you had so many students who panic because of a grade, or let's say an exam, or certain, let's say, information that they're so confused about. Tell us about these kind of situations you deal with them.
I think the problem with the education in Kuwait, because they are so used to spoon feeding them information in high school, it's very challenging for them to be on the other end of actually acquiring knowledge on their own, seeking knowledge on their own. So that is a skill. It's a part of critical thinking and acquiring knowledge. And I think it's very important that we build this knowledge in our students. Sometimes it's difficult for them to ask them to read something out of sight of class. They always complain that, oh, it's extra work. Oh, do we really have to read this paper? Do we really have to read this article? Yes. So I always tell them yes, because acquiring knowledge is a skill in itself. So when you read something outside of the class material, it actually ignites your curiosity again, and you'd have more questions. It develops your reading skill, your critical thinking skills, your reflection skills. So all of these are an arsenal in the student belt, because when you want to pursue higher education, you have to have these basic skills, and without them, you'll face many challenges in the future. So we try to prevent students from falling into these pitfalls from the get-go before getting into these challenges. So it's important to cover all the basic skills. Even though if they have the disadvantage of not covering it in high school, we try to cover it in at least the college level, so they would have the necessary skill to succeed.
Yes, so we can say that giving them the opportunity to actually read more and to have that challenge itself is very important in order for them to be more educated.
I always say that, you know, you have to put more effort now, so you'd have it easier later.
Yes.
Because nothing in life comes easy.
Indeed.
If you want to be successful, you have to work hard.
Yes, so in order for you to be successful, you have to work hard. Thank you very much, Dr. Reem, for your time and giving us this opportunity to have you here with us. Thank you. Thank you. So, dear viewers, that was our interview, and we're going to continue the rest of the episodes, so stay tuned.